So lately, I've been hearing more and more about this whole cloud FinOps thing and how to control those, well, frankly, kind of scary cloud costs.
Yeah, it's definitely a hot topic.
For sure. And you sent over some really interesting material on how a centralized team can be a game changer. But honestly, where do you even begin? We're talking about wrangling cloud spending across an entire organization. It's a bit daunting.
It can feel overwhelming, that's for sure. But that's where the beauty of having that dedicated FinOps team really comes in. And you're right, it's not just about throwing budgets at the problem. It's a different way of thinking about it, about shifting the entire organization's view of cloud costs.
Okay, so instead of everyone just kind of wandering around in their own little cloud world, clicking away in their consoles, we've got this, what did you call it, a dedicated team on a mission.
Exactly, a team with a clear focus.
I like it.
Yeah.
But I have to ask, why is centralizing so important? That just seems like a massive undertaking, right?
It's all about that big picture perspective, right? You can have individual departments optimizing in their own silos, maybe even seeing some savings.
Right.
But are they really getting the full picture, the optimal outcome for everyone? Not necessarily. We call that sub-optimizing.
Sub-optimizing. Interesting term.
Yeah, think of it like an orchestra. Each department's a talented musician, fine-tuning their instrument in isolation. But if they're not in sync, if there's no conductor, the music might be okay.
But it's not going to be a masterpiece.
Precisely. A centralized FinOps team is like that conductor, making sure everyone's on the same page, playing from the same sheet music for those harmonious cost savings.
Love the analogy. Okay, so how do we go from this scattered orchestra to a well-oiled, cost-efficient machine?
Freckles. Well, we don't want to be machines either.
True, true. We want a team, a high-performing team. And speaking of teams, the material you shared mentioned a framework from the FinOps Foundation, something about 4 phases.
They call it plan, socialize, prepare, launch. Sounds a bit formal, maybe?
A little bit.
But it's really about breaking down this big, potentially scary process into bite-sized pieces.
Okay, I can get behind that. So where do we even start?
You start with plan, unsurprisingly. It's about understanding where you're at, mapping the terrain. Who are the key players in your organization? What are their pain points when it comes to cloud costs? What keeps them up at night? This stage is also about getting leadership on board early, making them your champions.
Right, because without that top-down support, it's going to be an uphill battle, pushing a boulder uphill, really.
Exactly. You've got to have that strong foundation to build on, and that's where the socialize phase comes in. This is where we define what success looks like. What are the key performance indicators or KPIs?
So it's not just about saying we want to save money. We're putting actual measurable goals in place.
Absolutely. We're talking about things like, cost per customer or maybe cloud infrastructure utilization rate. And once you've got those metrics, this phase is about making sure that everyone, especially those decision makers, aren't just understanding the plan, but that they're excited about it. They're the cheerleaders.
They've got to be bought in, right?
Yeah.
Especially in a large organization, you need everyone moving in the same direction.
Okay.
Oh, so we've got the plan, we've got everyone excited. What's next?
Next is where the rubber meets the road. This is prepare, and it's about taking that beautiful plan and making it real. It's about establishing an oversight committee, choosing the right operating model for your organization's FinOps practices, and really nailing down the roadmap for how it's all going to work, those KPIs we talked about. Time to set targets and milestones.
This is making me think about how companies approach cybersecurity.
Oh, interesting. How so?
It's not enough to just buy the shiniest new security software. It's about creating a culture, right, of awareness and shared responsibility.
100%. And FinOps is the same way. Everyone has a role to play. And while the centralized team provides the guidance and expertise, everyone needs to feel accountable for their cloud usage.
It's about empowering everyone to be cost conscious. So for our listeners out there who might be feeling, well, a little overwhelmed right now, what's that one key takeaway you want them to remember?
Centralization isn't about more bureaucracy. It's about working smarter, not harder.
I like that.
It's about aligning everyone around a common goal and then giving them the tools to succeed.
Turning that cloud from a cost center into a source of, dare I say, competitive advantage.
You said it.
Now, we've covered a lot of ground here on the how of building this team, but what about the who? What are the essential qualities you'd look for when you're assembling this dream team? That's something to consider as you embark on your own cloud FinOps journey.